My name's Joe Conley, and then this is to the Bridge of Khazad-dum, obviously from the Fellowship of the Ring. So I initially started with building this back segment here, which is, of course, the flight down the stairs of Durin's Causeway, as it's called there. So then that originally was built as a standalone piece that I took last year to BrickCon, and then for this year, I've expanded this out to add the Bridge of Khazad-dum here, obviously with the Balrog, a few different elements that have lit up, etc. And of course, here you've got this column that I added in with all of these orcs that are shooting down at the Fellowship that are in the middle of their jump across the gap there.
There's a lot of dark gray in here. That's certainly something that catches your attention right away.
Yeah, so I was trying to basically replicate as much as possible the way that it looks in the film, and it's very monochromatic, and so that's basically, by design. But I think it also makes like the certain colored elements, the lights that I have there in the back to kind of signal the Balrog that's breaking through, etc., really pop out.
So you started with the stairs then, and so how did you decide then what to move on to this section and how this came together?
Well, a lot of people just kept on saying, when are you going to build the rest of it? Like, when are you going to build the Balrog and the bridge? And so I knew all along that I wanted to expand it, but it just took time and obviously like collecting more Legos to build this. And so my very kind of next step was like trying to design this column here because that's like most kind of visually distinctive thing that is in all of Moria is these columns, which uses a lot of snot techniques, so studs not on top, to basically build out and get kind of that very visual, distinct design that's in there.
Is a lot of this then just kind of plates then attached to the central core?
Yeah, so basically inside here, this has, I can actually show you if you want. So this is basically just kind of an internal column with, you've got the studs there with the stud on the side, and so basically it's just an internal framework. Same thing for these. These are like the wings and the wedge plates. They're just basically built out from an internal thing, and that's what gives it this structure.
And the Balrog itself is very impressive here. You've got lighting, so take us through the design of this whole character.
Yeah, so this is actually based on a different Balrog that a builder, Marcin Otreba, built, and so I really like that design. I don't have a lot of experience with designing monsters and stuff like that, so I went through kind of a lot of iterations. One thing that was really important is that I wanted to have a glowing sword for it, and so that took a lot of like experimenting, trying to fit in lights, trying to get the wiring just right, etc. And then basically adding in some of the wings and all that, and then trying to just get the entire thing to stand upright without falling over, which was a challenge that I had to solve like literally the morning before this opened up. So, yeah.
Yeah, getting monsters like that to actually be posable is a very difficult thing.
Yeah, it's super challenging. So he's got a basically a little Technic rod in there to help him stand upright, but seems to be working out so far. He hasn't fallen over since we opened up.
Then if we come to the back here, you've actually got some nice kind of flame and more light section back here.
Yeah, this took a lot of experimentation. So this, of course, is the scene, if you remember from the movies, where Gandalf comes in, the Balrog jumps across this giant, basically, sheet of like lava and flame. And so what it took a lot of experimentation to do this, but what I ended up doing was basically building a little kind of mosaic of trans red and trans orange plates, and then basically having very bright white LEDs beneath that shining straight up, and so it gives it kind of a nice flaming sort of lava effect. And then with these individual flame pieces, the light will actually reflect off of them, and then it just has a really cool look. So it took a lot of experimentation to get the right design for it, but I think it looks really nice, and people seem to like it.
The stairs section back there is really quite tall, and you've got, a lot of sort of precarious sections there. So how did you make that structurally strong enough to be able to keep all those sections together?
So it's obviously a little bit heavier towards the very bottom. It's got some of the burps pieces that are built in, the big ugly rock pieces, and then of course the framework there, it's connected in. The very back piece is wide enough, and it's on a little base plate that doesn't actually fall over. So it's been I haven't had any issues with it actually falling over. So, and same thing for that one over there. Like it's pretty steady, and so they seem to work out really nice. One thing that I'm really proud of that took a bit of experimentation with it is that if you see on these rock pieces, there's a lot of like kind of crumbling, fallen rock, cracks in it. So it's basically trying really hard to show kind of the decay and the
worn down look.
Exactly, yeah. So I think that's something that ended up turning out really nicely.
So is the scene pretty much finished for you now, or do you have other things you'd like to add as well?
I'm considering adding more to it. So the previous sequences within Moria, they all take place kind of up on that level, and so if you wanted to actually build it into this mock, like you can't actually see it. So I thought about doing some things, potentially basically putting on the roof to this, and then adding in some different light sources to basically make it a little bit more interesting. But I don't know. We'll have to see what inspiration strikes me.
For sure, but it's been great to see you add to the build as you've come to more shows here, so I'm glad you could bring it all out to display on the public. Thank you.
Thank you very much.